one of the definitions of yoga, one of the definitions of divine union, is that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So what this means is, as a yogi, the Bhagavad Gita tells each of us, be a yogi always. Whatever my thoughts are, I have the ability to be calm and mature and wise and peaceful in relation to those thoughts. And as I observe and notice and appreciate and choose to be calm and wise and peaceful and mature in relation to those thoughts, the thoughts gradually become still. The waves of thought gradually calm. And you can think of this as any image that you like, but one that works is a clear mountain lake. And so if a wind has been blowing and there have been waves across the water, gradually the lake becomes completely calm and clear. And then the mind simply reflects all that is. The mind simply reflects the face of the divine. The mind simply reflects total love continuously. The same is true of emotions. So in the classic yogic teachings, when the yogis are talking about calming the waves of the mind, they're also including our own human emotions in that. Good morning, welcome. 1,000 welcomes to you all. And we are meditating today. The topic is instant self-enlightenment. And we're focusing on in the present. So instant self-enlightenment in the present. And one of the things that the yogic teachings make clear is that everything we are seeking comes forth from within us in the present. And so all the love in the universe is within me in the present. All the joy and the delight in the universe is within me in the present. And each of us is inviting ourselves to open and to connect fully with that realization. And then to live in our daily life, right where we are, in our own bodies, our own hearts, our own minds, our own relationships. How do we allow that love to share itself fully through us? So I'd like to share from the opening today. We were meditating on a teaching from Swami Shankarananda, and I know some people have joined us since then, so I'm just going to briefly return to that. Swami Shankarananda says, all that is necessary is that I want to love the divine with all of me forever and ever. And so if I simply make that choice, I love the divine with all of me forever and ever, everything else arises from that basic foundational choice. So anything that is within me that is ready to transform, that is not in harmony and in fullness of joy in relation to this choice, I love the divine with all of me forever and ever, that will arise in my awareness. And there's a pacing to this process. There is a self-pacing to this process. So it's never too much. We will always be able to gracefully become aware, is there within me anywhere that I have identified with anything less than divine love? I will gradually become aware of that identification. And as I simply connect with my deeper commitment, I love the divine with all of me forever and ever, anything less than that will transform and will resolve into, I love the divine with all of me forever and ever. This choice that each of us has the ability to make within ourselves is self-healing. And so I just want to mention that as well. When we are in contact with, I love the divine with all of me forever and ever, we're in contact with what Thich Nhat Hanh calls the energy of love and understanding within me. And what he says is, if I trust the energy of love and understanding within me, that's where healing comes from. And so for each of us to turn to this energy of love and understanding within ourselves, and to greet the energy of love and understanding within ourselves, and to say and to mean, I trust the energy of love and understanding within me. And I give permission to the energy of love and understanding within me to heal, to transform, to uplift, to illumine, to elevate, to enlighten anything within me that is not harmonious with the energy of love and understanding. In this way, a gradual self-empowerment unfolds. A gradual self-enlightenment unfolds.
So I am Acharya Akashi, a spiritual teacher and a student of Swami Nityananda at Awake Yoga Meditation. If you love being inspired, uplifted, encouraged, and on fire for inner transformation, like, subscribe, and follow.
And so Swami Shankarananda's phrase is, this is instant. The self-enlightenment that we give ourselves is instant. And we choose it moment by moment. We choose it day by day. Every moment that we choose this, then we're living into the fullness of that light. And we're allowing the fullness of that light to live in and through and as us. And so what Swami Shankarananda says is, everything that is before you is the opportunity to experience instant self-enlightenment. So you snap your fingers moment by moment by moment. And as you open to the light, as you open to the fullness of divine love with all of you, the light fills you to overflowing. And the light will work through you. And so this is another teaching. We're not forcing the light to do anything. We're opening and we're allowing the light to illumine. And what happens, it's the same as if you walk into a room and you turn on the light. The darkness just vanishes as if it had never been. The darkness just melts away. And what happens is we realize that all along, the fullness of divine love has been loving all of me forever and ever. And it is a little bit like if you had conceived of yourself as a candle. So see if you can just visualize yourself as a candle. And your candle flame is lit, it's beautiful, it's warm, it's bright. And then what happens is the sun comes into the room and you become aware that the brightness of the sun and the light of your candle are completely non-separate. Your separateness was never lasting. It was never real. The fullness of that divine love just lights you up through and through. And all of your experiences will look different from the fullness of divine love. And so there is also a human willingness to let go of any pain we have held on to let go of any misery we have identified with, to let go of any suffering that we have created. And this is where the yogis say, I decide it's going to be a journey in joy and love. I decide because I am the one who gets to create that journey in joy and love. I also, because I realize I'm a powerful creator, could have the freedom to create a journey in suffering and misery. So I'm just pausing to notice. It's you. It's the same life. But if you decide this is going to be a journey in joy and love, the whole life transforms. It feels completely different. Your own conversations and encounters and interactions with your children and your parents and your partner and your family and your friends and your workplace and the world completely transforms. Once you feel divine love has loved all of me forever and ever, the whole way through. I have never been separate. The light that I am is here because of the light of 10,000 suns. What is there to fear? And so then we can begin to live exuberantly and in a flow of continual peace. So I'll share a couple of scriptures and invitations for meditation, maybe a couple of stories too. So always we're listening with the heart. If we've heard these teachings before, we're listening, we're hearing them fresh and new, and allowing them to unfold and allowing them to live, allowing them to become embodied truth in ourselves. So one of the teachings that I'll just begin by sharing is a very classic teaching from the Yoga Sutras, from Patanjali. And one of the definitions of yoga, one of the definitions of divine union, is that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So what this means is, as a yogi, the Bhagavad Gita tells each of us, be a yogi always. Whatever my thoughts are, I have the ability to be calm and mature and wise and peaceful in relation to those thoughts. And as I observe and notice and appreciate and choose to be calm and wise and peaceful and mature in relation to those thoughts, the thoughts gradually become still. The waves of thought gradually calm. And you can think of this as any image that you like, but one that works is a clear mountain lake. And so if a wind has been blowing and there have been waves across the water, gradually the lake becomes completely calm and clear. And then the mind simply reflects all that is. The mind simply reflects the face of the divine. The mind simply reflects total love continuously. The same is true of emotions. So in the classic yogic teachings, when the yogis are talking about calming the waves of the mind, they're also including our own human emotions in that. Any waves of feeling that it is possible to feel in human experience, a yogi can sit calmly in relation to those waves of feeling. And what happens as we sit calmly in relation to the waves of feeling is they resolve. Again, go back to that image of the clear mountain lake. The surface of the lake becomes completely smooth, completely clear. And then what you see is all along, there has only ever been light here. All along, there has only ever been the fullness of divine love here. All along, what my human self, from the domain of the mind and the senses and the intellect, perceived as an obstacle, did not really lastingly exist as an obstacle. And so I'm going to share a story, but first I'm going to invite you to think about an obstacle that you seem to have encountered recently. So just think about yourself, think about that obstacle, and think about, how have I been encountering that obstacle? How have I been meeting that obstacle? And then I'm going to share a story about a video that I saw that featured 4 donkeys. So the donkeys in this video encountered an obstacle, and it was this branch, like this long stick that was kind of barring their forward movement. And the first donkey came up to this stick that was barring their forward movement and leapt over it and kept going. The second donkey came up to the stick that was barring their forward movement, and he couldn't quite leap over it on the first attempt, so he stepped back and he took a running start, and then he leapt over it. The third donkey came up and kind of studied the stick, took his mouth and lifted the stick out of the way and gracefully stepped over the stick as if the obstacle had never existed in the first place. And then the fourth donkey comes up and there's no obstacle at all. And so this is what it is like when you encounter people who are living the teachings of truth. Not that I'm comparing my teacher to a donkey, but it is very clear that when you see a yogi who is living the teachings of truth, they make visible in time and space that it is possible to move past what seem to be obstacles from the perspective of the human mind, from the perspective of the domain and the senses. And so some of those yogis leap over the obstacle. Some of them show you it's possible to get a running start. And then some actually show you the obstacle never existed in the first place. I've already lifted this obstacle out of the way and stepped over it gracefully, so you have no obstacle. And I would actually say that those of us who are meditating in this meditation community, the yogis, the karma yogis who have walked this way before us, they have lifted the obstacle out of our way. And because they have walked this way before us, because they have created a pathway, the way opens, the way is beautiful. The way is filled with ease and with grace. And because we are here walking this pathway, serving as joyful karma yogis, for those who come after us, the way is open. The obstacle is revealed to have never been real or lasting in the first place. And so keeping in mind what we've been saying about divine union calms waves, I'm going to share a teaching which is already making me cry from Mark 4. It's a very familiar story. From the perspective of a yogi, this is talking about what happens within us. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? From the perspective of the yogic teachings, the waves are within us. When we are invited to calm the waves, this is what Patanjali is talking about. The waves are within us. And as we turn to ourselves, as we turn to our own thoughts and our own feelings, each of us has the ability to say to ourselves, Peace, be still. And I invite you right now to close your eyes and turn within. Gather up your own thoughts, your own feelings, love them and bless them, and say to them with love and blessing, Peace, be still. And one more time, in relation to any obstacle you seem to have encountered, in relation to any frustration or resistance within yourself, in relation to that obstacle, say to yourself, Peace. Be still. As you meditate on this later, you could push pause here and allow that absolute peace, that absolute being, that absolute stillness to do its work within you. It is not a forcing, it is an allowing. It is an opening and allowing that energy of peace to initiate a complete and total self-transformation within ourselves. Anywhere within ourselves where we have been resonating with anything other than peace, or that pure energy of being, or that stillness, transformation will arise. And then what happens is, the teaching makes this very clear, fear melts away. We live in trust. We live in faith. We live in awareness that, as Saint Teresa of Avila says, one who has God lacks nothing. And the way that the divine provides for us. The divine provides for us amply. The divine provides for us lavishly. The divine provides for us with unconditional love, with overflowing fullness and beauty and success and joy, creativity and generosity and delight and gladness. And so we're simply opening to that energy and allowing that energy to share through us. And so that energy of peace, as we establish ourselves in the energy of peace, will be present as we interact with our kids, our parents, our partner, anyone whom we encounter. It will be present as we look at the news. It will be present as we look at human history. We will be in contact with all-powerful love, with the energy of pure love and wisdom and understanding and transformation. Naturally, our relationships will transform. Include yourself in that relationship. So allow your relationship with yourself to transform so that you're bringing the energy of peace and you're bringing the energy of kindness into your own body, into your own heart, into your own mind. And then the energy of peace, the energy of kindness, will be able to share through you. It is very simple, and the living of it is the joy of a lifetime. And so each of us, as we continually open to this energy, which is all-powerful, all-transforming love, we are gaining victory over ourself. And so quickly we can touch upon a teaching from the Buddha, the one who is awake. One may conquer 1,000,000 men in a single battle. However, the greatest and best warrior conquers himself. Conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all. And the Buddha goes on to say the reason why conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all, no one can take that conquest away from you. Nothing in time and space can take eternal love away from you. Nothing can take peace away from you. Nothing can deprive you of your beingness or your stillness, because it is your own nature. It is your own name. And so when we are living in the fullness of that, the direct, precious, beloved, beautiful, treasured fullness of that, our bodies will feel different to us because we become aware that this body is an instrument of the energy of peace. This body is an instrument of simply being present, being responsive, allowing that divine energy, the fullness of that divine love, to share through me in whatever ways are optimal in this particular time and place, in this particular time and place, in this particular time and place. And so see if you can feel within yourself there is a super abundant flow of divine love within the heart of each of us. Each of us is simply invited always to open and to allow that to share. As we open and allow that to share, we realize more and more of that energy. We embody more and more of that energy. And so then we are in turn able to open and embody and realize and share even more of that energy. And so there is also a natural respect and responsiveness and caring and generosity for all of life. A natural byproduct of realizing this energy of peace, this energy of the fullness of divine love, is the intention to be of service. And that is another thing that Swami Shankarananda says. He says, until the desire to serve awakens within you, you do not have God realization. And so to go directly to the willingness to serve allows that energy of the fullness of the divine to share through you instantly in this moment. So the fullness of the divine, it's always here. And as we open to it, we become more aware. We give permission to more of that truth and that reality to embody through us. we also come into contact more and more with the pure energy of truth. And in closing, I will just share with you for your further meditation another teaching. This one's from the Buddha, and it's like a laser. It says, a single day's life of one who sees the truth is worth more than 100 years of not seeing the truth. Just allow that to permeate all of you, and then keep choosing day by day, moment by moment, to see the truth. As you see the truth, you give permission for the truth to live and to shine and to share and to be in you. And what the Buddha is saying is that is absolutely priceless and precious. And thank God, because you are that pricelessness and that preciousness. God bless us all.